Hey guys, Starshot Ryan here to welcome you back to another Let's Play of Legend of Heroes. We last left off climbing the tower and finding our researcher friend here. And after discovering our hidden quest that we would want to get done before taking on the rest of the main quest. But now that we got him here, we can finally head back down. But before we go, I plan to try and get these 2 treasure chests. Now, these just aren't any regular old chests. No, they actually have monsters inside them. And sadly, they're mostly weak to arts attacks, which we're currently low on right now. So, but I should be able to take care of at least this first one here. And as you can see, we have our, researcher friend join us as well, but he's not going to be much help to us. But yeah, this is the Robber Trapper. He lurks in chests and explodes when it's defeated, so kill it from afar. And it is at least weak to water, or at least will take damage from water, fire, and wind. So definitely don't rely on earth attacks for this one. And apparently you don't always hit sometimes either. But let's go ahead and do some arts attacks to it and take it down while we have the chance. But yeah, as you can see, the arts move it does is a bit dangerous, the Earth Lance. It's not too bad when it's just one of them, but if you were to deal with more of them, you'll definitely need a bit more strength to deal with it. But this one, it's not too bad, and we get a nice item from the chest as well.
Let's move out.
We get an Emerald Talisman, makes it so that your defense and wind and attacks are wind-based, which isn't too bad. But if I want to get the other chest, which is over on another platform to the right, I'll need to level up Joshua and Estelle, which are actually somewhat close. Because that way they'll fully heal them completely, which will give me more options. But as you can see here, these bugs, we faced before aren't too bad, but the turtle is another story. But I should be able to take it down with a firebolt, hopefully. And I guess, yeah, so that's kind of the plan for now. Once I get those 2 treasure chests, I'll then make my way down the tower and turn in this quest for the most part. And then we can finally move on to the main quest. Okay, so we're very close with Joshua, but it still has a little bit more to go. So, hopefully this last battle should do it. And I may have to make use of our craft abilities here to deal with this field as we're facing right now. Let's see. Yeah, for this one I want to try and get as much damage as possible, so I need to kind of adjust his angle here. And I'll need to heal up Estelle before she gets killed. Yeah, she might get killed if I don't do something now, just in case. So I'll go ahead and make use of this here. And learned Red Tail Soup, so we're all good for that. But I guess now this is kind of the point in the show where, I should find something more to talk about, because there's not much more to say other from what I'm trying to do now that you guys can watch me do. So let's see. I guess it looks like I won't be able to do much in this case. I'll just go ahead and attack this here. But yeah, so the yeah, pretty much when it came to my RPG, when I started playing through RPGs, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the first one I did play was Secret of Mana. But I also really did enjoy playing through Super Mario RPG for the SNES. A lot of my RPGs were pretty much through the SNES. There weren't that many I played on NES when we had that around. And so, you know, when it came to my love for RPGs, it definitely started with Secret of Mana, but it pretty much grew from there thanks to the library the SNES had. And I guess I'm trying to think now, after Super Mario, I never played Final Fantasy 3 or 2, for that matter. So, I'm trying to think now what other RPGs I played on the SNES. Because I think I didn't really start playing more RPGs until the PlayStation. But even then, we didn't have a PlayStation until much later in its life cycle. You know, I guess the first one I can remember playing was Lunar 2. Funny enough, I don't remember playing Lunar 1 until the PSP era. Or not PSP, the Game Boy. Yeah, I really had a lot of games I loved on the Game Boy. I actually missed out on Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga until much later. But yeah, pretty much if I were to call one of the best RPGs for the GBA, it would definitely be the Golden Sun. And we got that level up like I talked about, so now we should be able to take on our floaty treasure chest friends here and get the last item before we head down. But yeah, and pretty much I still remember even after playing through the first part, when the second part finally came out, which was pretty awesome. Now I'll go ahead and do aerial here. They don't really move, so you don't have to worry about positioning too much. So when it came to I made sure that I transferred all the data, and I remember trying to make use of the link cable for transferring all the save data I had from Golden Sun to Golden Sun 2, but I never got that to work. I'm not sure how many people ever did. So I did put in the 26 character password that was necessary to transfer everything. Sadly, that didn't do much. And definitely not something I want to do too often, but it still was worth it to, you know, because I did get all the Dijins, had great levels, all this nice equipment and all that. Let's see here. Yeah, she's low, so I need to go ahead and heal her. I'll probably go ahead and make use of some CP attacks here when I get the chance. Just to make it so there's one less enemy to worry about.
Someone's been naughty.
But yeah, Golden Sun, I enjoyed the combat. It looked awesome for its time, of course. I loved the puzzle aspects to everything. You know, I always like it when RPGs try to do more than just rely on combat and doing quests. Let's see. I'll just go ahead and do a craft. And yeah. So, you know, I really loved RPG, the Golden Sun, for its story and everything, and the combat. I definitely recommend anyone try to check it out at least. The graphics, with how they look now, I could say they, you know, may not be everyone's cup of tea. Let me go ahead and take care of this one, even though he's super. No, I could probably kill him with the other two since they're available. So definitely recommend it, and I do hope that they eventually do come out with their 4th Golden Sun game, since I did play through Dark Dawn, and of course they left us off on a cliffhanger, which when it comes to cliffhangers, I'm not that fond of. Like, I usually prefer just to leave it open, but not to kind of leave you hanging there, especially for a series that, sadly hasn't seen much love over the years. Wow, that's quite a bit of seep there, so that should help. And we got chainmail, which... Oh, sorry, I forgot to check on the chest. The chest is empty because someone came and took the stuff out. You wouldn't know who did that, would you? I have a few ideas, but... And the chest is empty. How depressing. Sadly they can't all be winners. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and heal up here, because we still have a few floors to go through. Yeah, I'll go ahead and equip our chainmail, and then I should probably go ahead and change out this here, if I can. See, yeah, she doesn't need evade too. That doesn't really do much for her. But yeah, so as you can see, when it comes to orbments, you can only have one type of one, and you can have an evolved version, but you can't have a previous version. They kind of want to keep things modular and different. But now with this setup, Scheherazade will be able to do that aerial attack as well, which can come in handy in plenty of battles, especially with a lot of enemies. And of course, we get to fight the turtle again. But yeah, so quite a few different RPGs I did play, Golden Sun being of course one of my favorite. I did play Super Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and I'll be excited to play the next one, or the sequel, I guess. Or not the sequel, I guess the remake that they made for the 3DS at some point. Let's see. I guess I did try playing through Tales of Fantasia on the GBA as well, and I'm kind of disappointed I never beat it, because funny enough, once I played Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube, I was pretty much hooked as a Tales of fan and wanted to play them all. Sadly I haven't gotten to Tales of Destiny yet, but it seems a bit hard to find, and for whatever reason they haven't done any re-releases for it either. Let's see here. Oh, so she should cast before it goes off. Let's see if I can get more than... Ah, here we go. So, and then let's go ahead and target this guy. And miss. But yeah, so... Pretty much Tales of Fantasia, I believe it's called, was one of the few GBA games I did buy, but sadly never completed or beat. And I do want to go back to it eventually, but I haven't gotten around to it.
We're good to go.
Just, life gets in the way, or other games show up. You know how it goes. So, yeah, so for the most part... okay, so I didn't have to worry about that, but whatever. Man, they really pile on the numbers here, don't they? And it looks like people are getting a bit low anyways, too. But yeah, so... I've definitely played a lot of RPGs. And, a lot of them I kind of like a mix, a good balance between the combat, the story, and, just kind of what you get to do in it. That's critical might do it. And so my love of RPGs pretty much came, I think, because of just how interesting some of the worlds could be and what you could explore and find out about them. And then the other part being just, they really do have good stories. I've always enjoyed good characters and interesting scenarios. I remember You know, being a kid, I read through the Harry Potter series. I wasn't that big on reading at first, but thanks to that, I pretty much read quite often now. Of course, most of it's through gaming right now, but it's still not the way I want to go quite yet. I want to just keep going down. I don't want to worry about finding any more treasure chests or anything like that since I'm getting low. So, you know, I'd say, you know, I think you got, you know, if anyone wants to comment or say kind of what are your favorite reasons for playing an RPG? Do you like it because it provides interesting combat for you to think about? That you prefer to be a more, you know, thoughtful person that tries to figure out the best solution or figures out the best plan? Or do you prefer exploring a world you've never been in before, kind of see what the people are like, what they're dealing with, and to go ahead and take care of this field here? Okay, what the hell is this researcher doing here? You don't need to fight the enemies, you don't fight. Do you love it because you've always enjoyed a good story with interesting characters? Or do you just do it because, you know, the most bang for your buck? Because, you know, I do know there are plenty of RPGs I've played through that, like, if you decide to spend 40 to 60 bucks on a game, you expect to get easy 50 to 80 hours out of it sometimes, and not, you know, the only 5 or 10 to maybe 8 hours from some other games out there. Which, there's nothing wrong with games of that length, I think. I feel like you know, people have gone a bit spoiled with how long some games should be. You know, even though the reason some games last as long as they do is not because of how much content is in them. It's how some of the, you know, the number of transitions, how the combat works, that it's not as fast. Because think about it, these battles that I'm doing here probably take me, like, you know, depending on the enemies, could be anywhere from 10 seconds to 5 minutes, or maybe even more, depending on if it's a boss battle. And, you know, whereas plenty of other games out there could only be as long as, you know, 3 seconds to beat, you know, or 2 seconds to beat an enemy. Oh goodness, you've helped me out of a mess again. If you hadn't come along when you did, I might have been done for good this time. I've managed to get a little funding for my research, so I'll send a payment to the guild as a token of my gratitude. Like I told you before, hire a bracer to escort you around. Funds permitting, I will seriously look into that next time. Anyway, I must be going now. Are you sure you don't need to be escorted back to town? If I did that, then my wallet would surely be barren. Farewell, everyone. I hope we can meet again someplace. He certainly is a strange one. You think so? He seems like the typical academic to me. You know, the type that gets lost in whatever they're doing. You're definitely not one of those people, that's for sure. Hey, even I know better than to come waltzing into a place like this alone. But for a scholar, he may just be more than meets the eye. For one, he came here by himself. Maybe you're right, but we're the ones who ended up having to save his behind. Well, that's just part of the bracer line of work. Anyway, how about we get going? And now with that quest out of the way, we'll head back on doing the main quest. We do have one more right now that we could do, but since we're kind of low on EP right now, and you know, it's not due, the quest isn't due for a little bit longer, I think we can hold it off a bit and take care of the our quest over at Ravenue Village first before we continue on with that. But yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so I guess that's for the most part. You know, whatever your thoughts are and your reasons for liking RPGs, I have mine. You know, and of course, as I said, when it comes to games and how long they are, I think games should really last as long as you enjoy them for. Since, of course, there are plenty of games out there I've picked up and played once, and that's been about it. And then other times there have been games I've come back to or I've continued playing for years. Let's just turn these in. We got a petrified quartz. And just to make sure we're not missing anything here. Okay, yeah, so the last one is the monster on New Ansel Path. But I wanted to fully heal myself up first. So I'll go ahead and rest here. Pretty much if you want cheap recovery, best place to do it is at an inn. So you should enjoy a game for as long as you want to. You know, I know there are some games I've played through and I keep asking myself, is like, okay, how long is this gonna be going on for? You know, where's the end for this now? Like, you finally get to that point where you're a bit tired and want to just finally maybe start something else. And so, and that's something I did experience with, like, Xenoblade, the very first one, was one I kind of ran into. I kept doing a lot of the quests, and they didn't really seem to end sometimes, or they just sort of dragged on a bit. And then, of course, you know, but I did put like 80 hours into it, so I don't think I ended it too soon. And so, you know, and I've played through the other, I played through Xenoblade Chronicles as X as well, which was fun. I grant you, but I found the systems and a lot of the systems they try to implement for progression and customization a bit overbearing or too complicated for my tastes. You know, I think for the most part the orbment system they have here is complex but simple enough, and you kind of, you know, you don't have to worry about what your stats are too often, or what perks you have or a class sometimes. And then, of course, for the other games that, you know, you do have a class for, you just worry about what abilities you have or what other class things you get from another class you may have used. Okay, Ravenu Village. So we're finally back on track after that slight detour. But as I said, I do want to try and get all the BP points, which gives us perks and different items that can come in handy in future missions. And then, of course, you know, so when it does come to game mechanics and systems, you know, I think it's kind of a balance between complexity and balance. Like, I remember when I tried Final Fantasy VIII, I found the junctiony sync system a bit confusing and cumbersome when I first played it, which sadly kind of discouraged me a bit from trying to beat it. But then, of course, when I played through Final Fantasy IX, learning abilities from equipment, which, you know, through ability points, I found was kind of nice and gave you kind of the variety, because you could change out your abilities, and learn kind of what you wanted to learn for each character, but only some characters would learn things. So, but now that we got a bunch of money, as I sometimes should talk back to what we're doing here. I'll go ahead and see about buying a few ingredients for healing items we could use. Since if we look over here, some of our recipes do require that we have some of these items, and they're a lot cheaper than trying to buy the actual healing items themselves. And so it's good to have like a nice surplus of them, because sadly we won't get everything we need from monsters all the time. But that should be good enough for now. So I'll go ahead and make an item or two here. And we kind of want to go for the pocket, or the, I guess these ones that kind of look like sandwiches, to-go items, I should call them, since they're the ones that we can use during battle, whereas the plate dinner ones are you pretty much have to be, you know, out in the world map to use. Let's see, so cures petrify, cures mute. Let's just make a few of these here. That should be good. I can make 10 of them. They heal for plenty, they don't worry about status effects, so... And at least you don't have to worry about not successfully creating them. I know there are some games that have a cooking system that, you know, make it so that you will have a success rate, which, you know, I think if the items aren't too paramount to this, to the game, I think that's fine. They're like a little bonus, but you can still afford a bunch of the other stuff you need. That should be good for now. Like, I remember Tales of Symphonia, actually a lot of the Tales of games have that cooking mechanic, but for the most part I rarely use it. Or when I do, it's just for, you know, they just have it as a side thing or during battle, really. So, you know, so they make the cooking here a bit more paramount to the game if you definitely want to save money, since that is, you know, I guess that's kind of the nice thing in this case, being, you know, having money be more useful or more scarce and hard to come by than it is in a lot of other games, because, you know, as you can see in this, you know, you could easily grind for it. Like, you know, if money was so easy, you could find it on monsters instead of just selling items or seeds. But now that we're here at the mine, let's go ahead and open this heavy chain gate. Let's use this key we borrowed from the village elder. Phew, that was one heavy gate. Let's have a look inside, shall we? I don't know about sky bandits, but I can definitely sense monsters in here. Everyone stay alert. So here we are in the abandoned mine, and the music changes to fit it. Kind of makes it sound like, you know, oh yeah, this, you know, accordion playing as well. It's sort of, well, it's not an accordion right now, but it's, oh, murder crab. Murder crab! And that sounds like something in a heavy metal band. And ground weak against arts may call for backup. Okay, so we should probably just use arts then. Now, of course, I don't want to use too much, because we might need it further on, but hopefully this should do enough damage to just take care of them. Yeah, almost. Yeah, it looks like those guys are a bit stronger for that, so I'll just have them attack. And can I reach? Not quite. I'll just set up an arts move just in case. But yeah, so if your party can't reach someone, then they'll just kind of go as close as they can. But yeah, I don't think there's any items or treasure chests to really find in here. There's another murder crab. Okay, it looks like they definitely don't take physical. They take physical damage pretty well, but he seems to be able to do something at least, or do a bit more damage at least. And with the backup being called and everyone close together, maybe I'll go ahead and do a arts move or aerial here. Let's see, we should be good about here. Of course, few of them are gonna move, so I think I'll place it here would be better. And I'll go ahead and actually, with just this one move, we should probably get everyone. So let me go ahead and heal Joshua here, because he might be attacked quite a bit. Oh good, we still got everyone.
Seems you came up short.
And got plenty of monster carapaces, so before we continue, let me go ahead and make some potluck in a shell. Just in case. And then I'll just look around a little bit more just to see if there's anything we might have missed. If there's anything that you really see or check out. I guess not. Sort of got turned around a bit there. And another murder crab. They're pretty much all over this place, aren't they? But I don't want to really deal with them too much right now. It looks like he wants to deal with me, though. Okay, there's just 2 of them, so that's fine. I should be able to take care of them with just an aqua bleed and a slice. But yeah, so I guess, you know, so for the cooking mechanic, it's fairly important in this game. I've seen in plenty of other games it's not as much, but I guess that's fine if that's how they planned it. Another murder crab. I'll just make use of that strength up. But yeah, and so I guess it's definitely the combination or number of mechanics a game will implement that, you know, you can really see how important or how useful they are to you in the game when you play through or not. Now I just need to figure out I keep going out that way. I'm getting turned around here. Oh, let's just go this way, and we should head over to the mine path that we saw earlier. And I'll just run away in this one, and then make sure to heal Joshua here. Let's see here. So, just a warning for you guys, pass through here is definitely a boss battle. So make sure you're healed up and ready to go. And here we are. Man, it's bright in here. Huh? Isn't that the... Quiet, Estelle. It looks like we've hit the jackpot. Forget about the heavy things, and focus on the food provisions and valuables. And hurry it up, will ya? It's only a matter of time before someone finds this place. Roger that, Kyle. Got it, Kyle. Okay, Kyle. Understood, Kyle. What's an airliner doing in a place like this? I guess that kid wasn't seeing things after all. This looks like an area that used to be used for strip mining. It certainly turned out to be a great place to hide something of this size. Yeah, who would have thought to look here? Look at that. Aren't they loading the airliner cargo into their own ship? Let's worry about that later. We've got to figure out a way to bag these guys before they get away again. So this is our 3rd trip, huh? Man, Don can be a real slave driver sometimes. Oh well, once this is all taken care of, we'll be able to sit back and negotiate a nice fat ransom. Hold it right there! Who in the... The scorching flames of justice shall never fade away as long as evil thrives in this world. The League of Extraordinary Bracers has arrived! Huh? The League of what? You bonehead, why do you always get carried away like that? What's with you two? Now I look like a big fool saying that stuff all alone. You're the ones who Gisette had a run-in back in Roland. This can't be right. You're not supposed to be here this early. It can't be right. We're not supposed to be here this early? What the heck are you talking about? In accordance with the laws of the Bracer Guild, you are hereby under arrest and charged with the hijacking of an airliner and its passengers. I hope for your sakes you'll come along quietly. Now hold on just a minute. Are you trying to tell me that only the 3 of you came here to arrest us? You see anyone else here, Bandit Boy? So you're not involved with the others then, huh? Then that simplifies things. Let's get 'em, boys! So, but as you can see here, the number of enemies we have here would be pretty good to use our aerial arts here. And he's weak to most elements, so that's kind of a good plus here. But let's see, I'll go ahead and clock up here, speed things up a bit. And let's see, we have to anticipate how they move. So we should get a good result about here, I think. And then we'll go ahead and make use of hers as well. And I'll place one about right here and see how that works. Oh, darn it. Oh well, at least I got a few of them in here. I'm just speeding things up here, but yeah, we got some pretty good results here. So now we just have this guy and Kyle to worry about, which we should be able to since we have plenty of CP saved up right now, and they haven't got much damage in. But the side quests, I definitely recommend doing them since they do help in terms of leveling and can help make a few battles a bit easier during the story. So you never have to worry about if you're not strong enough to take care of them. Which isn't too bad, and you know, but of course depending on the difficulty you chose will kind of be how some things turn out. And yes, you can critical a heal. It's a bit weird, but it can happen. Let's see. We got plenty of CP, but I'm not sure how much we're actually going to make use of it. I'll go ahead and actually do a morale boost here. But I should probably just go back to focusing on arts here since he's weak to that. And that's it, guys. There goes. And we got plenty of red Steve, which is really helpful and will, of course, allow us to unlock a new slot. Ow! You guys are tougher than I thought. It's no wonder Josette got beat by you three. Sweet talk won't get you anywhere, buddy. It's time to surrender and let the passengers go. Hahaha, you really don't know anything, do you? What was that you called yourselves? League of the Exceptionally Dim or something? You making fun of my awesome team name? You're dead. Look out! And there's another smoke bomb. What is this? You gotta be kidding me. Another smoke screen? Ha 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 ha! It's too bad about the rest of the cargo, but we'll just have to live without it. Later, bracers. I'm getting deja vu from, you know, since I'm an avid fan of, or I used to watch Pokemon, so I do remember Rocket getting away like that sometimes. Gag, cough, cough. Ow, ow, ow. Some of it got in my eyes. Don't worry, it's not poisonous. It looks like it was a typical smoke canister. Their ship is already out of sight. This is getting really old. It's not once, but twice now that they've gotten away. If I get demoted for this at the guild, there's not much I can say in my defense. Oh, Shahara. Quit acting like it was all your fault. We're responsible for letting them get away too. If we got time to kick ourselves over this, then there's gotta be some other constructive things we can do. Well, well, you sound like you should be the senior bracer. Well, at least we were able to take it back the airliner, so how about we have a look? The passengers may be inside. Right. Well, guys, join us next time when we, go ahead and search the cargo plane here for the passengers and whatever else we can find. Until then, see you next time.